Welcome to One on One. I am your host, Jimmy Olsen. Joining me at this episode is Dave Mable. He is an award-winning filmmaker, award-winning adventure filmmaker for 1,000 Miles to Nome. And he is also in the process of putting together another documentary called 60 Hours. It's about the Arrowhead Winter Ultra Marathon. Dave, how are you doing, buddy?
Great, Jimmy. It's A, great to talk to you, and B, I love hearing award-winning. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, but I mean, 1,000 Miles to Nome actually did win an award, so it's a true statement. But I do love hearing it.
It is a good thing, and it's always great to know someone that is an award-winning filmmaker, because I have not won any awards, Dave. So you are that much better than I am.
I'm no better than you, Jimmy. I will say this is kind of funny, and there's a high precedent set in my family. I have a cousin, first cousin, who has a Oscar.
Okay.
Is that the film one? He has an Oscar. He won for short animated film called Bunny. He's the director of the Ice Age movie series, Robots.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like legit.
So you've got like royalty in your blood.
I have royalty. To have a laurel that says your film has earned exceptional merit is cool, but to have a Oscar sitting on your mantle is, I don't know that all matches. I think I'm out.
so what you're saying is you fell very far from the tree is what you're saying.
Yeah. Same medium, I guess. Medium.
Absolutely. Well, I know tell me a little bit about the movie that you're in the process of. You're kind of like, you still got a few things to shoot, but you're still basically in post-production for 60 Hours, the Arrowhead Winter Ultra Marathon. Give us a little bit of history. Talk to us about that before we kind of get into the meat of our conversation today.
Yeah, for sure. The Arrowhead Ultra is a 135-mile race on a remote trail in way northern Minnesota. It starts in International Falls, Minnesota, and follows the Arrowhead Trail south for 135 miles. And there are only 2 points of civilization. You cross a couple of roads and one railroad track, but they hit a convenience store at about mile 36 and those northern Minnesota lakeside resorts.
Mm-hmm.
They go through one called Mel George's at mile 70. And other than that, they're just kind of out there in the woods, and they've got 60 hours to complete it. They can do it on foot, ski, or bike. And they ride, a fat bike with the 5-inch, it's like a mountain bike with 5-inch wide tires.
Okay.
They've got to carry all their gear and get through. I was going to say hell or high water, but maybe if hell froze over, hell and high snow, I guess. But temperatures can drop. Last year, they were down in the negative 40-degree range.
Wow.
Yeah, so it can get super duper cold up there.
Now you
said, but I was curious.
Now you said they can, basically foot, ski, or bike. Yep. Now, are they able to? Is it pick one, and that's what you're doing for the entire marathon, or can you do you?
Yeah, you and you can actually change right before the race. A friend of mine did it by ski this year, and he was going to do it on foot, or no, he was going to do it on bike. But he switched to ski like with 2 days before because the conditions were great for skiing. But
yeah.
once you commit, and I think, as I recall, they could tell the race director at the starting line, "Hey, I'm on skis."
But either way, once you commit, that's what you're doing for the entire marathon.
Yep, you've got 135 miles of you and wolves and moose of northern Minnesota.
So now, when are you hoping to have this ready for viewing?
I'm hoping to have at least a fairly refined rough draft um, for public viewing by September.
And how would people be able to view that?
In September, we'll hopefully have a showing. Our plan is to have a public showing in Duluth. But after that, it will be available at expandyourpossible.com. I do these movies with my friend Steve Cannon, and he's got a website, expandyourpossible.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will also be available for streaming at Adventure Plus, which is kind of the Netflix of adventure films.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool to be included on that platform.
So that's kind of aiming for September for that. So that is very cool. Looking forward to that. 60 hours. Again, a documentary of the Arrowhead Winter Ultra Marathon. And we're talking with Dave Mable, award-winning filmmaker. And so, Dave,
keep saying that, Jimmy. Keep saying that.
I will. Don't worry. So, I mean, not only did I want to talk about the film, which I know there's a few things that you still have to film and record for that. I know we're going to be doing a little bit of work one-on-one for that as well that I'm helping you out with. But I kind of wanted to pick your brain with what we're living in today. Not really a new normal, because we haven't really reached any kind of normal yet with people. We still have states that are sheltering in place, still kind of really encouraging the social distancing. But, we're talking about marathons, races, either from biking or from the triathlons or the Ironmans, where there's really a lot of people are in your personal space. What are you hearing, or maybe what do you see that's going to happen through this summer, even into fall, as we're kind of dealing with the coronavirus and the spread, or trying the lack of spread of that?
Yeah, it's such a new frontier for everybody, from the athletes to the race directors, even city permits. A local 10K will pull a permit for June 5th on these roads from 8 a.m. until noon. And hey, we're going to maybe move it. Maybe we're not going to move it. So that city permits and T-shirts, and it's just such a complicated subject. It's not as easy as saying, hey, come on and run, but stay 5 feet apart from each other.
Well, and of course, you're talking T-shirts and mugs and all that stuff that they're buying for. I mean, they've got dates on them. So, I mean, we've got races that were supposed to go this summer that I'm sure they ordered everything back in January, and the run is incorrect.
Yeah, well, not just incorrect, but maybe doesn't even happen. And so the race director's got a garage full of mugs and medals and T-shirts and Dixie cups that are worthless right now.
And I mean, who takes the bite on? I mean, who's the one that the loss of money?
Oh, it would be the race director. Maybe there's an organization involved, like a YMCA or I don't know, some organization that would be putting on the event. But it would come out of whoever's organizing that event's pockets. Some of them have sponsors to help cover those costs. That would be, I don't know. I mean, the sponsor would probably have the opportunity to pull out, but
I'm saying the sponsors, if it's not going to happen, they've got that opportunity to ask for their money back, and hopefully they're kind of maybe going, well, no, let's not worry about it. But I mean, let's not look at the part of them like ending. I'm sure most of these races, what they're trying to do is reschedule rather than cancel altogether.
Yeah, what they all are looking at is a future date. And part of the challenge of that, if your race was March 21st and, just talking about Iowa, and the state shuts down on March, I don't know, it was about the 15th or 16th or something.
Roughly something like that.
it'd be pretty easy to say, hey, we can't have our race. Let's pick September 8th or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the races that it's like this rolling tide. It's like this wave that is kind of washing through the months, and kind of with each week, there's new information. Everybody is really blind to the future. It's unprecedented. And so they're trying to predict. I work with the Heart of America Triathlon series, and it's a series that was to begin on May 2nd. That race is now October 10th, I think. And then there was a race at the end of May that got moved, and then there was a race June 7th. June 7th still is kind of this gray area. Like, will we be opened up? Could we have it then? But it's a triathlon and pools are closed. So they just moved that race a week ago to the end of July. And then there's another race the end of June. Well, will it be fine by the end of June? Shoulder shrug. I don't know. Maybe. Like, when do we call it? We've got t-shirts and medals and people are signed up. And, I think everybody who races wants there to be an event, but everybody who races wants to be safe. They don't want to catch this stuff. They don't want to spread this stuff. So it's just this really difficult challenge for race directors to call. And then again, the Pigman Triathlon got moved to July 26th, I believe. What's going on in July? Can groups of more than 10 be together?
Right.
I don't know. It's just so hard. And then, of course, they bump it into, maybe September. I feel like September is going to be the busiest event month that has ever occurred on Earth. It was already a full calendar. September, October are great months to hold events. The IMT Des Moines Marathon is in mid-October. It's a great time for a marathon. But all the May races are now booking for September and October. All the June races, all the April races are moving to September, October. So it's just a super complicated web that is unprecedented.
And the next part that I'm sure race directors are really going to be concerned with is, normally you pick your weekend. You've been doing that weekend for years, but now all of these other races that had to move, and say it's another big race, but it's in another state. And a lot of these racers or runners or bikers, triathloners and Ironmanners, I mean, they kind of travel around from event to an event. And if you end up going against what is a bigger event that someone really needs to be part of or wants to be part of, I mean, that's going to hurt your participation.
Yeah, for sure. As event directors are deciding on their weekend and their race date early on, they're definitely looking at the calendar and finding a clear spot so that everybody's not trying to eat the same piece of pie.
But how hard is that going to be when it gets shrunk into, like, say, 2 months out of the year? I mean,
it's going to be
September, October.
It's going to be impossible. I don't know this to be true, but theoretically we could have Dam to Des Moines and the IMT Des Moines Marathon and the Drake Half and Capital Pursuit and Midnight Madness within 2 weeks of each other. And everybody's attendance will be down because of that. Because it's like, well, do I do the Des Moines Marathon or do I do Quad Cities Marathon? You used to be able to do them both. Now you have to pick. And so everybody's attendance will be down.
You also have the emotions that you're dealing with. I mean, you have these people that are kind of in fear, and I'm sure that's going to help hurt attendance as well, that they're not sure what's going to happen. They're going, I want to really do this, but, maybe I'll just wait till next year, or I'll wait until the year after that until maybe this has finally calmed down and they've kind of actually came up with a plan or figured something out to kind of make everybody a little more safe. I mean, there's so many variables. I mean, how is that going to affect us?
Well, most of the races that move their date, they understand that people's schedule may not allow them to hit that date. So a lot of them are saying, you can, if you want to race in September, you already signed up, you're good. Mm-hmm. If you want to defer till next year, you're good. Just let us know that you want the 2021 race.
Sure.
If you want a refund, there's a lot of different, I don't know about a lot, but several options that events are giving participants. One is a full refund. A lot of this stuff happens online, and maybe it's active.com or runsignup.com charges a fee. So you're going to be out that $2.18 or whatever, mm-hmm. but the race will give your money back. Or some races are offering a virtual race where you go out and you go do the, let's say it's Dam to Des Moines on June 4th or something, whatever the date was. Maybe it was May 31st. Mm-hmm. But you go run 20 kilometers that day and send in your time, and the race will, organize everyone's time in a list that sends it in. And then, they've already got T-shirts. They've already got medals. I've heard of races sending people who do that their T-shirt and their medal. Mm-hmm. But they've kept the entry fee. So, you paid the $35 or $45 or whatever, and you get a T-shirt and a medal, and you went out and ran 20K on your own, and you got your name on a list. You got 43rd in your age group because you're you know what I mean?
Right.
So you do actually get something out of it.
We're in the middle of who knows what. There's no answer. And I know these are conversations that I've had with others I'm not sure what the right answer or the wrong answer is, but you're in a catch-22.
There's no right answer.
Here's the question that I ask you is, not only do you follow these with the kind of doing documentaries and being a photographer at a lot of these events, but I know you've also taken part in these. How do you see, or what do you see the future or the new normal that they kind of have labeled things to be as we move forward, at least for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be adaptations made to races in the near future until there is a proven vaccine, a proven cure. If you get it, take this pill and you'll be fine, whatever. But, right now it's a very contagious disease. And for some people, it is very detrimental to their health. Right. And A, I don't want it. I don't want to catch it. B, if I have it, I don't want to give it to somebody else because it's so contagious. So races are going to have to figure out, okay, do we go off in waves? Do we send groups of 10 out every 3 minutes? Do we do a time trial type of race where every 30 seconds somebody takes off? Do we have it on different times of day? So the 50-year-olds will go at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and the 40-year-olds will go at 10 o'clock on Saturday. So they're almost separate races that you can pare down so that the groups are small. Mm-hmm. Do you do them virtually? I don't know if you've heard of Zwift, but it's a virtual running and cycling software. Mm-hmm. You hook your bike on this bike trainer, or you get on a treadmill and run, and you can literally run with people or ride with people around the world.
Oh, wow.
In real time, and communicate with them in real time, compete with them, uses watts and speed and all that to kind of figure out your place in the thing. And Zwift races are becoming legit, which is kind of funny. But obviously there's nothing like the starting line of the IMT Des Moines Marathon. There's nothing like the finish line where you run down the street and thousands of people are cheering you on. Yeah, for sure. And you get to like talk with all your friends while you're sitting on the curb, you know, drinking hot chocolate or whatever, and talk about the race. And, oh, did you see the deer in the woods over there? Or, hey, did you see that person puking that, you know, at mile 5? I mean,
Thanks for the visual, Dave. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It happens. I mean,
or even the people that are cheering you along as you're, you know, that are standing along the road that.
Oh, and they make it super fun, you know, other silly signs and cowbells and whistles. And I was running the Chicago Marathon, and like I fell apart. And literally at mile 18, there's a little girl, maybe 8 years old, and her dad sitting on the curb cheering people on. And she had a bag of gummy bears. And I was like, can I have your gummy bears? You know, you don't get that on a treadmill in your basement.
Dave, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you. Again, award-winning adventure filmmaker Dave Mable for 1,000 Miles to Nome, which you can check out at expandyourpossible.com. And then in September, he has got his new documentary that he is going to be releasing, which is 60 Hours, a documentary about the Arrowhead Winter Ultra Marathon, 135 miles. Again, you'll be able to check that at expandyourpossible.com and on Adventure Plus. So looking for more from Dave, and I want to take the time and thank him very much for speaking with us today. Once again, thank you for listening. It's One on One. Until next time, I'm Jimmy Olsen.